Hey guys, welcome to MzansiOz, darling. My name is Connie. I'm just walking along my neighborhood here in Adelaide. So I'm in the city, so it's about 10 minutes from my home. I'm just saying hello. So you can see this is the west side of Adelaide City. Um, so I can actually show you guys up there. See that building there? That's beautiful. That's building. Hey guys, welcome to MzansiOz, darling. My name is Connie. I'm just walking along my neighborhood here in Adelaide. So I'm in the city, so it's about 10 minutes from my home. I'm just saying hello. So you can see this is the west side of Adelaide City. Um, so I can actually show you guys up there. See that building there? That's beautiful. That's building. Very nice building actually. Okay. What I wanted to say, just forgot actually. Alright, yes. Now, many of you guys who want to be migrant, who want to come to Australia, want to have a better life and stuff like that, I think you need to consider whether it would be suitable for you to move into Australia. And the reason why I'm saying that is that the economic situation plus housing. In Canada, a lot of people move to Canada. Canada had this higher migration and wrap up everything. And we're seeing a lot of people moving now from Canada and leaving Canada because of this high migration. And New Zealand also had the same thing. But people are moving away from there because they don't get the jobs that they were looking for, promised. And they find themselves working as Uber drivers, cleaners, and these are the professional people because otherwise they wouldn't be able to come to Australia. To come into Australia, to come to any Western society, the requirement is for people who are highly skilled. But also, I think in Australia now, they've also had these visas for people who are low skills to help out in the care industry, like aged care, disability, and so on. Um, But even if you are wanting to get a job there, you still have to do a course because the minimum course that you can do to work in those community care role / disability aged care is certificate 3 to do. It may take you about 12 weeks to finish that one, but you have to pay some money. If you're an international student, you're going to pay a lot more money. Or international person who's a migrant, you won't be paying a local candidate fee. So that's an additional cost for you to be able to at least have a job while you're waiting for maybe to be your certifications to be authorized, so you can live really. So most people who are coming here are from Asia.
Not just housing, it's not just hospital waiting lists, it's just across a whole bunch of issues that impact just about every household. But let's have a look at the top 10 countries where migrants are coming from. A few surprises here. Nearly 1 in 5 are coming from India, 12% from China, then we've got the Philippines, Nepal and Colombia. Those two surprised a few people. And rounding up the top 10, we've got UK, New Zealand, I'm sure will be in there, Vietnam, Pakistan, and Thailand. So a diverse range of countries, but the question is the numbers and whether we can absorb them, because housing approvals and we're just not building enough homes to house the people coming in here permanently.
And most of them would live in a situation whereby there are many of them sharing a property. So if you're South African, you're not gonna like that. I know that. From Zanzibar people, you're not gonna like that. You're not gonna like to live in a house that is actually not of the standard similar to South Africa. wish South Africa has one of the best homes in the world. They actually nice design homes and beautiful and at a lower price. So if you're gonna come to the country like Australia where you're gonna pay high price for a run-down property with trucks everywhere and crowded situation. Some people are sharing property because vacancy rate is so low. In Australia, over from 2022 up to now, we've had about more than 1 million people. At the same time, we haven't built enough houses for them. So if you come here, you're going to be lining up, having like a long queue just to see a property for rental. It is shocking, and you might find yourself in some temporary situation, Airbnb, or in some houses where there's about 5 or 10 of you in the house with about two bathrooms at least. I mean, yeah, this is what's happening. Most people from some Asian countries, number one of them is India. They're happy to live in those situations. But if you're the person who doesn't like to live in those situations where you are sharing a property with so multiple people, strangers you don't even know, yeah, and that would be you, South Africans. I know my culture very well. Zanzi people, you're gonna be pissed. I mean, you're gonna be very upset about it. So just letting you know, from the Mzansi to you, Mzansi, South Africans, if you come here, be prepared. Well, if your dad is Elon Musk, you know, if your dad is Elon Musk, they can afford you to buy a property. They can buy a property outright. You wouldn't have any problem. But most of you who would actually be qualifying to come to Australia, you are middle class in South Africa. You're living in a nice home, gated community, high security, have 24 hours. You got like you're outside, you'll have a golf course, you know, that you can go and do things. And it's just the square meter of actually room is so huge. So you have to consider that is it that worth for you to do that? What experience are you going to get that you wouldn't otherwise get in Zanzi? And then now I actually looked at the rent. The rent is strengthening. It's strengthening. So if the rent is strengthening, your the inflation problem is going to be very low because a lot of inflation in South Africa is imported because they import a lot of stuff. They don't make a lot of stuff. And similarly to us here, we do import a lot of stuff. So if you don't make stuff for yourself and import it from other countries, uh, you are your country is at risk of that inflation and exchange rates. You ended up, importing that inflation into your country. And but housing situation here is not a situation that I would say that it's due to external issues. It's made here in Australia through the policy of the government. It is driven purely by government policy. This one, so it's not going to go anytime soon because it's actually benefiting a baby boomer group at the expense of Gen Z and Generation X. No one here. Oh, no one here. So no people. You see, that is so crazy. That's very empty. Wow. So I'm going back home now. And yeah, like I said, for you, I'm gonna sit here anyway. So as I said, yeah, you gotta really evaluate, guys, that whether this whole thing of migration, moving here in Australia, is gonna be good for you. I mean, if if it's for experience, you want more experience in your role, and you wouldn't get business associate. What we found is that people, even if they were recruited as high skilled, when they come to Australia, they actually don't work in those high skilled roles for a while. And I don't know whether it's the trust, because Australia don't trust people who are qualified outside of Australia, who don't have the experience in Australia, or something like that. I don't know. I'm not sure why, but what we found is that most people don't. They don't actually work um, in the management role. So, for example, if they came to Australia as maybe management or CEO or whatever, they may not be able to work in the same field as management. They're going to start because of the visa processes. They're likely to be starting at that lower entry level, and in some cases, if it may mean that your career is going backwards. So really, for a high skilled person, you need to really evaluate whether it's actually a good idea for you to come to Australia. But if you're low skilled, it will still be harder for you to get a visa. So you're in a catch-22 situation here because, um, yeah, low skills harder to get a visa unless you are coming specifically to work in the low skill areas like caring role and so on. You know, and the visa to get it there may even be difficult to do it, and you still have to go training. And even if it doesn't matter, you still have to go and start the training here.
Well, that's right, and a lot of those migrants are also international students. And we know that the international student market is basically a racket for vice chancellors. The massive increase that we've had, they claim it's a massive export industry, but a lot of the students are here working. If you're working in the local currency, spending in the local currency, it's not an export. So there's a real problem with the universities and their reliance on international students.
Now,
Experience, for example, in South Africa, then you might want to consider then, and it's more advanced in certain areas. But even if it's advanced, what we found actually, because I do a lot of, I'm a coach, personal leadership coaching as part of my role at the Thrive Pathway. So there are other category that they created of high skilled individuals, but I'm not sure how it's working at this stage. I'm not passing a help with visa and stuff, but you can go to the website and have a look at the details, what sort of details they require, what sort of information they would like you to provide for you to qualify for that visa. But it's not something that you can actually, I can tell you off my head what it is, but the best is be someone who's just new in their career. Uh, Starting. Just like when I did myself, it was just after 2 years I finished my uni that I decided to come to Australia. Then you're such a new person, you're sort of new in your career. But once you're in the mid level of experience, you're going to find that you feel like you're going backwards when you come here. Um, so just give you those heads up for you all. And right now I'm just in this train. It's going to leave in about 20 minutes.